Fever pull it out by 1 point. It was an ugly, ugly game at times for the Indiana Fever, but they got the win. They needed this win. They were trying to avoid being swept by the Sparks.
Caitlin Clark didn't hold back after that wild finish in LA Odyssey. Sims hit the dagger. Aaliyah Boston owned the paint. And the Fever dragged a messy game into a sweet win over the Sparks. Ugly? Sure. Still a win? Absolutely.
Fever dog! Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah!
Her reaction said it all, loud, proud, and a little spicy. Year 2, and the standard is higher now. What was your favorite moment? Odyssey's 3, Boston's bully ball, or Clark's post-game heat? Let's be honest. This game looked like it was stitched together with duct tape and coffee. The second quarter crawled. The third was worse. Both teams kept clanking bunnies at a rate that should be illegal in a pro gym. And then, when it mattered most, Odyssey Sims turned into the adult in the room. Aaliyah Boston turned into a forklift. And the Fever walked out of LA with a 1-point win that felt like 10.
We're a good group, from the coaching staff to the ownership to my teammates. Everybody is so genuine. Everybody pours into each other more than I've ever seen on any other team I've ever been on. And
start with Odyssey, because good Lord, she earned it. When the score read 74-71 and the air felt heavy, she didn't blink. Catch, rise, splash. That 3 wasn't cute, it was cold. Later, she got downhill, used the glass, and made the kind of no-no-yes bucket that shuts up a crowd fast.
Kick out Sims. Sims in the paint. The runner good.
Say whatever you want about shot count or box score beauty. She took the ball, and the moment. If you're mad about volume when the scoreboard says W, that's a you problem.
Good group, from the coaching staff to the ownership to my teammates. Everybody is so genuine. Everybody pours into each other more than I've ever seen on any other team I've ever been on. And that speaks.
Kelsey Mitchell, off night. It happens. When your primary bucket getter is flat, someone else has to fight the fire. Sims did. And no, that doesn't mean Kelsey and Odyssey can't fit. They're the same breed, tough guards who live in attack mode. Some nights it's Kelsey. Tonight, it was Odyssey. The your turn, my turn thing can be annoying, but on a gritty night when no one can finish a layup, you take whichever turn end of the ball actually going through the net. Now, Aaliyah Boston. First 5 looks, brick parade. After that, 11 for 13 and a full-grown takeover. 22 points, 11 boards for dimes, and enough body blows to turn the Sparks' front line into spectators. She sealed deep. She finished through wrists and elbows. She tracked misses like a metal detector at the beach. That's the version the Fever need every night. Decisive, mean, and bored by single coverage. When Boston sets a tone, everyone else falls into place. The box-outs turn cleaner. The closeouts look sharper. The spacing finally breathes. Lexi Hull deserves flowers, too. 2 black eyes. Still closing out, still cutting, still getting a hand in passing lanes.
Oh, and there's Lexi Hull. You can see both of her eyes.
You can see the spark she gives them, even on a night her shot didn't sing.
Her pass is deflected, picked up by Hull ahead of the pack.
That charge she almost got whistled for, massive challenge by Stephanie White. Won the review, kept the starter on the floor, and flipped momentum at the right time. Credit where it's due. White pressed the right button there. Aerial powers, big threes at the perfect time. Not perfect overall, but the timing was chef's kiss. Natasha Howard didn't have it. Fine. She still worked the glass battle length and did the grunt stuff that doesn't trend. Bree Turner did her job and, most importantly, didn't hurt them. Sometimes the best you can say about a rotation player is no disasters. Tonight, that mattered. That let's talk about the mess, because it was messy. The Fever missed layups like they were allergic to the square. The Sparks took turns throwing the ball away. 4 long stretches. It felt like everyone was playing in wet socks. But you know who wins in mud? The tougher team. The one that's cool with a 13-11 quarter and still talks on defense. The one that accepts we can't shoot right now, so we better rebound and guard like rent is due. That was Indiana and Caitlin Clark. She didn't sit quietly and clap twice. She was loud, animated, and absolutely on brand for year 2. She yelled for pace when they bogged down. She kept barking matchups from the sideline. She told teammates to chill with the ref talk before wallets got lighter. After the buzzer, her face said it all: relief, pride, and just enough salt to let folks know standards aren't dropping. This isn't a rookie glow anymore. She's a second-year star with a bigger voice. She expects more, and she lets everyone know it. That's the part haters miss. Leadership doesn't vanish just because you're not the one hitting the dagger. Clark sets tempo even from a bench. What a run, who to screen, where a flow when the first action dies. Her sideline coaching came with receipts tonight. When the Fever tried to brute force drives into traffic, you could see her chop in the air. Kick, swing, second side. And sure enough, the crunch time dagger 3 came off a clean second side touch after the first action got jammed. That's culture. Sparks notes, because context matters. Azure Stevens was a problem on the glass, and in short roll, Cam Brink's minutes were swing minutes. Her length changed Indiana's angles and force ball fakes. The Fever still solved it by putting the Sparks in scramble. Late shot clock. Get it to Boston early, or let Sims turn the corner and force weak side help. Simple math. Force 2 to ball and play behind it. Ugly but effective officiating. Let's say it politely. There was a lot of let them play energy. Kelsey Mitchell absorbed enough forearms to fill a film room. Clark told teammates to save the tweets and fines for tomorrow. Cindy Carlson cracked a joke about already being fined, and somehow made half of WNBA Twitter spit out their water. Funny, very helpful. Also, yes, because that tension was close to boiling. The Fever won by not letting the whistle become the story. Coaching tweaks worth noting. White shortened the rotation. That will annoy some folks, especially with Michaela Timpson and Chloe BBY getting DMPs. But in a street fight game, coaches chase trust. White leaned on players who were talking on defense and getting bodies on bodies. Also, she cut some acute sets and leaned into empty corner pick and roll with a shooter lifted weak side. Cleaner reads, fewer turnovers. When nothing falls, fewer choices help point one more thing about Boston: the screens. Broadcast folks never hype it, but she flipped screens at the last second and trapped the Sparks guard on Odyssey's hip. That half step is the difference between a contested pull-up and the exact rhythm 3 that changed everything. Bigs who screen with purpose win ugly games. She did. Now about the winning ugly label, embrace it. Last year the Fever lost these. A clunky whistle, a missed layup, 2 empty trips. Game gone. This year they collect the loose balls, make the annoying free throws, and squeeze out a 1-point win on the road. That's growth. Pretty wins are for highlight reels. Ugly wins build seed lines. Zoom out. The Fever are building habits that last when the shots don't. Rebound as a gang. Hit the floor first. Don't stare at refs. Don't switch out of boredom. Talk through screens. If you want a clean slogan for tonight, no hero ball, only hero plays. Sims hitting the big 3, hero play. Boston sealing deep, taking the bump and finishing, hero play. Lexi closing space with face that looks like it went 3 rounds with a heavy bag, hero play. Now to the part everyone wants. What did Caitlin not hold back on? 2 things, standard and expectation. She called the offense out for walking the ball up after makes. She pressed the pace button over and over. She barked for early entries to Boston instead of holding the ball for 5 seconds and letting help get set. And she went straight to Odyssey at the horn, pointed to her temple, then her chest. Translation: smart and brave. Keep both. That's not fluff. That's a star sharpening another star. There's a playoff angle here. 2. The Fever needed this to keep control of their spot and tiebreaker math. Beating the Sparks in L.A. with your second leading scorer cold? That's a seed changer. It also sends a message to the locker room. The identity isn't cute shots. It's edge. If Clark returns to a team that is already defending, rebounding, and closing, the runway gets very short for whoever draws them. Quick hits turnovers. Indiana turned chaos into 23 points. That was the difference when layups went missing to second chance points. Boston and company punished ball watchers. No one leaked out early. Winning detail. Free throws and brickfest. Freebies are currency. Indiana collected just enough. Late game calm. Sims looked like she ordered the moment off a menu. Zero panic, clean footwork, clean release. For those wanting shiny numbers, fine. Boston's 22 and 11 tells part of it, but her screen quality and deep seals were louder than the points. Sims' line pops, but her decisions after the catch, shot drive, kick, are why it worked. And Clark's didn't hold back, wasn't a stat line. It was accountability. She's in year 2 now. The bar is higher. The voice is stronger. The excuses are fewer. Good. You can nitpick all you want. The third quarter offense, the wasted drives, the missed bunnies. You're not wrong. But the only thing that matters in late August is, can you win when your jumper is lying to you? Tonight, the Fever answered yes. That travels. That ages well. That's the kind of win you remember when the bracket drops and the top seed looks across the floor and says, oh, not them. Final thought on Sims. Every team needs a fearless guard who treats pressure like a snack. She gave them that. Final thought on Boston. Every contender needs a big who deletes second possessions. She gave them that. Final thought on Clark. Every franchise needs a star who demands more from everyone. Even after a win, she gave them that loudly. You can call it ugly. The Fever will call it progress. And since the standings only log letters and not art grades, the only letter that matters got stamped. W. And here's what people don't always notice about a game like this. The ripple effect across the league. When Indiana steals a win on the road, it doesn't just pad their record. It scrambles the playoff board. The Sparks thought they had this one chalked. Drop a home game to a team missing its superstar. That a gut punch. Suddenly, other teams are checking the schedule twice. Wait, do we still have Indiana left? Because ugly or not, the Fever are learning how to snatch games that used to slip away. Playoff positioning is where it gets fun. A win like this doesn't just move Indiana up. It drags someone else down. You can feel the frustration in opposing fan bases already. We were supposed to catch them slipping while Clark was out. Nope. Odyssey Sims had other plans. Boston had other plans. That one seed line bump can be the difference between meeting a powerhouse in round 1 or actually making noise in the postseason. These are the margins that matter. Now, let's flip it to media spin, because you know it's coming. Headlines tomorrow will read, Fever steal one in L.A. But if you watch the full game, you know they didn't steal anything. They earned it possession by possession. National media loved the Clark highlight reel, but tonight was a reminder. She's part of a growing machine, not a one-woman show. Don't be shocked that the same critics who scream overhyped end up realizing that even on her quiet nights, her presence shapes everything around her. Let's also talk about growth. Last season, a game like this would have spiraled. Mitchell off, Howard struggling. No Caitlin to rescue them. That's a 12-point loss. Easy. Fast forward to now. They bend, don't break. Sims takes a shot. Boston controls a glass. Role players do just enough. And Clark sets the expectation higher. Then, well, at least we tried. That's program building stuff. That's how you go from lottery team to legit problem. And while we're here, give credit to the Fever fan base. Traveling to LA isn't cheap, but you could hear Indiana voices in the building. That matters. Players feed off it. Refs feel it. Opponents hate it. The Fever aren't just growing on the court. They're expanding their footprint everywhere they play. That's how you know a franchise is turning the corner. Last angle. Respect. Wins like this force it. Opposing coaches now circle Indiana on the calendar with actual concern. Opposing players stop treating the Fever as a light workout. And haters? They're left quiet for at least 24 hours, which is always hilarious to watch, because nothing silences overhyped talk faster than results. And tonight's result, a win on the road minus your star against a playoff contender? That's not hype. That's progress and S.O. yeah. Call it ugly if you want. Call it messy. Call it whatever makes you feel better. Indiana will just call it another win. And at the end of the day, when the standings drop, only one thing matters. The Fever are still climbing. And Caitlin Clark didn't hold back on letting everyone know that this bar is only getting higher. Ugly game. Beautiful finish. Odyssey hit the shot. Boston brought the muscle. And Caitlin raised the standard. That's a grown-up win on the road. Your turn. Who gets your game ball and why? Drop it in the comments. Smash like if you love winning nasty. Subscribe for more Fever breakdowns, clips, and post-game heat. Year 2. Caitlin isn't here for cute.